But it was a big, one of the biggest thrills in our career was when we were asked to appear on the Opry. The new rule from now on is we'll only bring one monkey into the studio at a time so we can control it.
A play with his daughter Amy, and he came and he was so nice to everybody. He seems like a very
good guy,
down to earth.
Yes, he is. Yeah. We played him last time to Clarksville and a couple of other songs that we had and that we'd worked up the arrangement for, and he was blown away. And he said, "Go book the studio. You guys are back on the project."
Candid with Kimbra.
How you doing?
Candid with Kimbra.
Telling ya.
Candid with Kimbra.
I'm really excited for you to check out this interview.
Candid with Kimbra.
Hey y'all, welcome to one of the last podcasts of 2025. As we wind down on this year, I wanted to share a classic episode from my previous podcast. Some of you may know I was on another podcast called Kellie and Kimbra in the Moment. And the conversations that I had with Kellie are really what shaped the direction of what I'm doing now. And I really think you'll love revisiting this podcast. This was one of the last, if not the last, interviews that Bobby Hart did. And for those of you who don't know, Bobby Hart was half of a songwriting duo called Boyce and Hart. Boyce and Hart was really influential to a lot of songwriters from the 1960s up until today. He and Tommy co-wrote songs for a pop group called the Monkees, which they had a TV show around them. They're called the Monkees, obviously. And they wrote most of the songs, I believe. Many artists after that, 70s, 80s, went on to cover a lot of their songs. I'm Not Your Stepping Stone is one of my favorite songs that was covered, gosh, from everyone from the Monkees to the Sex Pistols. Bobby co-wrote a song for Linda Ronstadt called Hurt So Bad. It was covered by a lot of different people, but that's the one I remember. And Days of Our Lives, he co-wrote the theme song for that. And I got to know him on a personal level because one of my good friends, who's been like a mentor to me, Barry Richards, he invited me to a Dodger game and we all went to that. And that was so much fun. So I got to know Bobby a little bit on a personal level. He was a really good friend to a lot of people. He will be dearly missed. He passed away this year. And I really hope you enjoy this special podcast, remembering Bobby Hart. Hey, Kel, today I'm really excited because we have a really exciting guest. He's one half of a duo that has sold over 100 million, that is, records, right? And he's in the Musicians Hall of Fame. He actually wrote a song that was nominated for an Academy Award for a film called Tender Mercies. We have the very talented and prolific songwriter, Mr. Bobby Hart of Boyce and Hart. Welcome him.
Yay.
Yay.
We're so excited, Bobby. We're really excited to meet you. And your music has had such an influence on our lives, and it stirs.
Well, I have a lot of friends that, exactly. I have a lot of friends that were huge fans of the Monkees. I know you wrote songs all during the 60s and the 70s, right? And I wanted to ask you straight away about the Monkees. When they came to you and asked you for Boyce and Hart to write most of the songs for the Monkees, were you excited, or were you, did you have any hesitancy about it?
None whatsoever. We took a meeting before the show was cast, and they told us what they had in mind, the two producers, Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, and they said they wanted to do what they called American Beatles on television, and they would cast new guys, and but they would use the techniques and the styling of Help and Hard Day's Night that they saw in the Beatles movies. And so, no, we knew it was a great idea. We remembered when Ricky Nelson started singing on the Ozzie and Harriet show way back before you guys were born, probably. But we knew how important that was to have the promotion of a weekly television show. combined with record sales. And so we were very excited about it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I know when I told some of my friends that you were going to be on today, they were just like beside themselves because I have a lot of friends that are songwriters. I am myself, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, Bobby Hart's going to be on your show." I saw a documentary. Actually, our mutual friend Barry took me to see that documentary that you guys were in. It's called Boyce and Hart. The guys that wrote them, right?
The guys that wrote them, where that came from was 10 years after the Monkees came on the scene.
If you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
And so two of the Monkees were not interested in touring. And so we put a group together called Dolenz, Jones, Boyce, and Hart. And the subtitle was The Guys Who Wrote Them and the Guys Who Sang Them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we were the guys who wrote them, of course.
In the documentary, they talked about, and I wanted to ask you about this, they talked that you and Tommy met at the Brill Building, and I didn't know if that was true. And for people who don't know about the Brill Building, I thought maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course, the first half of the 60s, the center of the music business was in New York. And basically it all took place in two high-rise buildings. One was 1650 Broadway, and then catty-corner right across the street was 1619 Broadway, which was the Brill Building. And of course, we frequented both of those buildings quite often, and had my first hits back as a songwriter back there with Tommy and with a guy named Wes Farrell. The first one being Chubby Checker song called Lazy Elsie Molly. And then the second one was our first top three song called Come a Little Bit Closer by Jay and the Americans. And on the basis of those, of that success, we were signed to Screen Gems Columbia Music. Screen Gems and Columbia Pictures had just purchased Nevins Kirshner Music, which was the hottest music publishing company out there, maybe of the whole decade. And so they purchased it and called it, changed the name to Screen Gems Columbia Music, and they opened a West Coast office where Tommy and I both lived. We had gotten the big break to each of us had gotten deals with New York publishers, and that's why we were in New York. But now being signed with Screen Gems Columbia Music, we went back to LA and started writing for them.
When you were there,
first projects that they offered us at Screen Gems was the Monkees.
Oh, great. When you were there at the Brill Building, was Carole King there with Jerry Goffin? Was it at that time?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's right. And Cynthia Weil, Barry Mann, Neil Sedaka, and whoever he was writing with at that time. I think it was, I can't remember. But yes, the greatest,
lot of people.
The greatest stable. I think what happened when the two producers of the Monkees came up with the idea, they said to themselves, well, we can cast 4 new guys, but the thing that's missing that we don't have control over, and that is some great songwriting. But luckily, one of the two producers of the TV show, his father was the president of Columbia Pictures and Screen Gems TV. So I don't know, I wasn't there, but I'm assuming that he told his father, and his father said, no problem, we'll just buy the hottest music publishing company of the decade. So they bought Nevins Kirshner and became Screen Gems Columbia.
Wow, that's so fascinating.
I have a question. As a music outsider, I don't write, but I write stories, but I don't write music. So do you feel did you feel pressured? Like if you were writing for the Monkees, did you have to write a new song every week, or was there pressure, like a timeline, a deadline, or how can you come up with a masterpiece with a timeline?
We met with them in '65 before the guys had been cast and before the show was sold. And they said, yes, you guys have the gig. You can do the writing of the songs and the producing of the records. And then of course, Nevins Kirshner, even though we had a new name, was still run by Donnie Kirshner. So they kept him on to run Screen Gems Columbia Music. And he wasn't paying much attention to the project because it hadn't been sold to a television network. Once it was sold, then Donnie came out and he called us into his office, which was next door to our office in LA on Sunset. And he said, "You guys have had hits as songwriters, but you've never had any hits as producers. And this is too big a project now for us to take a chance on you guys. So I gotta get some big names." Of course, we were shattered because we had been working on it for a year. We had written the theme from the Monkees. We had written the 3 songs for the pilot, which he was happy with the songs, but he just wanted a hit producer. So he went to he started with Mickey Most in England, who was hot at the time, producing Donovan and several others. And he didn't like the song. He sent him our songs, and his version came back, the productions came back, and Donnie didn't like it. And so then he tried some other local people like, well, I can't think of the names right now, but some of the local hit producers, and he didn't like anything that he had heard. And now we're getting close to the television show debuting in September. We're now in July. So Tommy knocked on his next door to us office and said, it's getting pretty close now. You have nothing in the can, song-wise. And so we made him a proposition. We said, I've got my band that I play with, was moonlighting at night in local clubs. And I said, let me take the Candy Store profits into a little rehearsal studio. We'll work up 2 or 3 of the songs that we've written, and this will be our production to show to you. Come down and see if you like it, then give us our job back. If not, it only cost you about $15 for the studio for an hour.
Wow.
So he agreed. He came down. We played him Last Train to Clarksville and a couple of other songs that we had and that we'd worked up the arrangement for. And he was blown away. And he said, "Go book the studio. You guys are back on the project."
That's great.
Yeah. Wow.
How was it behind the scenes? Did you get along with the actual actors that played the Monkees?
We did. Most of our time was spent in the studio for doing the records with either Mickey or, actually, let me tell you a story just before that. When we first met the Monkees, our first meeting is when they sold the project, and they had sold it with Tommy and I singing the songs and them lip syncing. So once it was sold, they wanted to get our names off and the actual Monkees' voices on. So they said, "Go in the studio and do that." So we showed up to the studio. They came in, all 4 of them, on time, and we had some little getting together, getting to know each other time. And then we said we better get started. So we went in the studio, and take 1, we'd given them the lyric sheets, and they had the tapes to practice with, but we looked at it and there was nothing coming out of the studio. So they were still fooling around and having a good time. And that went on about 3 times. And after that, we just dismissed the session. We thought we were professionals and they were just not taking it seriously. And as we left the studio, I said to Tommy, the new rule from now on is we'll only bring 1 monkey into the studio at a time so we can control it. So that's pretty much how we worked. All the instrumental tracks in the daytime, and they would be shooting, of course, during the daytime, and we'd get them we would call for either Mickey or Davey, because we would be writing a song particularly geared toward one or the other. And we would get them about 9 o'clock at night, and we'd teach them the song and put on the vocal. Everything else would have been finished, including the background voices and so on. And so we knew Mickey and Davey well. And then across town, Michael Dolan's, I'm sorry, Michael Nesmith had written his own songs, was producing his own cuts for the album.
Right.
So we didn't have contact with a little bit. We had Peter come in on a couple of songs that we had done, but mostly our work was with Mickey and Davey.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. I briefly met him once. I was in a play with his daughter, Amy, and he came and he was so nice to everybody. He seems like a very
great guy.
Down to earth.
Yes, he is. Yeah. And so was Davey. Unfortunately, he passed us several years ago.
Yeah, he was so cute.
He was a wonderful guy too.
Yeah.
I had one of their albums. I was a Davy Jones fan. I love them. Yeah. I used to watch their show every Saturday. I think it was on Saturday morning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the second time through, because the original show was on Monday nights, I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
So then they started putting them on a few years later on Sunday mornings for you young kids.
I know Michael Nesmith was a songwriter too, and one of my idols growing up was Linda Ronstadt. Yeah. And I know you wrote a song that she covered that was a real big hit, "Hurt So Bad," right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big hit for her.
Wow.
It went to number 9 3 different times in 3 different decades by 3 different artists.
Wow.
Little Anthony and the Imperials in 65, and in 70 was the Letterman, went to number 9, and then Linda Ronstadt's version hit the charts in 1980.
Wow.
That's the kind of song that you want to write, right? That keeps on giving.
Yeah, that everybody keeps it's so good that everybody wants to cover it. I missed that one, but I saw on your website, I was poking around on your website, that we have a little something in common. You wrote the theme for Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, that was the second interview that after Lester Sell, our boss at Screen Gems, sent us over to meet with the Monkees producers, and he sent us over to meet with Ted and Betty Corday, who were an older couple who had a lot of success with soap operas, and they said, we're doing a new one called Days of Our Lives. And they said, my wife and I had just seen a show on Broadway that they loved the song called Sunrise Sunset. And they said, can you do something like that? So Tommy and I basically considered ourselves short order cooks of the music business. And so we said, sure, we could give you something like that. So we came back, and they hated it. And so we did a second one to give us another chance, and they did. And Tommy and I were in the recording studio when we got the call from Lester Sill saying they hated that one even more. And Tommy said to me, forget these guys. They don't know what they want. They asked for something. We gave it to them.
Right.
We need to just be writing hit songs. And so I said, okay, Tommy, but before we throw it away, there's a Hammond B3 organ over there in the corner in the studio. Just go in and start the tape, and I'll just play some things, some music, original music, but it'll kind of be reminiscent of the kind of music that I would hear the organ play on my mother's soap operas when I was just growing up years before. So that's what we did, and that's what's been playing on the air for 56 years, 5 days a week on NBC.
Yeah, Kelly had worked on Days of Our Lives, and so she was really excited when she heard that you wrote the theme song for it.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it just gave me a little bit of some kind of tie to you. But yeah.
Who did you play on Days of Our Lives?
Well, I started out, they start you out just playing like a one-liner. And then they keep if they like you, they keep making the parts bigger. And I ended up playing Deidre Hall's secretary. And then they were trying to match me with a love interest on the show to make me a regular. But I came down with an illness and couldn't continue my career. But yeah, it was really fun. I played.
Good for your resume.
Yeah, it was for a couple of years I was on the show. And, if I was going to act, and I know it's not, soap operas aren't the best, considered the most respectful job as an actor. That's what I wanted to do. I had dated a guy in my 20s who was a main character on Santa Barbara, a soap opera. And I just thought that was such a neat lifestyle because we'd be doing his lines in the car on the way to dinner. And, he'd get up the next morning and go work all day. And then we'd go out that night. And I just thought that was kind of a more normal lifestyle.
Yeah. And it's a real secure gig. You have regular hours. It's like
Banker's
So
hours, as they call it. I thought I made it. That was it for me. I was really happy with the Days of Our Lives gig.
Yeah, and a lot of big stars came out of there. He had worked on soap operas.
That's true.
As a launching pad.
It's you really have to be on because they don't do rehearsal. There's no rehearsal. We might, if I was lucky, I'd get to run lines in the makeup chair. If the other actor was there that I was doing a scene with, if they weren't around, and that was it. You just get on set and do your thing. You get one take. Yeah, so it was good practice.
Yeah.
Bobby, I have a songwriting question for you because a lot of our listeners and viewers are songwriters, and I am myself too. So my songwriting partner wanted me to ask you. He said, ask Bobby if you ever had conflicts with Tommy, like about the way a song was going to go, and if you did, how did you resolve them? Did you guys ever have conflicts?
Say that again.
Did you guys ever have conflicts about like, oh no, I want this lyric, I want that lyric?
We had both written solo. In other words, I wrote by myself and he wrote by himself when we got together. And so we both knew how to write music and how to write lyrics. And so basically it was just fun time, bouncing off each other. And we, the goal is always the best to get the best outcome, no matter who said it or who has more lines than the other person. It was never looked at like that. It was just throw out the stuff. Oh, that's great. That sounds good. Put that, leave that. No, you can do better than that. Those kind of conversations.
That's great. It sounds like you guys didn't have a lot of, your ego was not involved. It was more about the outcome of the song, right?
Yeah, that's got to be, if that's your job. I mean, you want the best product you can get. That's
good. I know I spoke of Barry earlier. You guys wrote a song together. It was like a million selling song. He told me it was called, what was it called?
I Need You.
I Need You. That's it.
Yeah. It was a hit in about, I think, at least 10 European countries. Big hit it was recorded by a guy named Dimas Roussos, who was a giant European star, a Greek fellow with a very outstanding and remarkable voice.
Wow.
And so we can't take all the credit for it, but yes, it was nice to have that success, even though it wasn't local.
His interpretation was great, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I was also reading on your website that you are a big fan of country music, as am I, and I wanted to know, do you listen to it a lot? Do you was that a route you were going to take before you got into writing pop music?
No, well, in a way, I always, Tommy and I both grew up listening to the Grand Ole Opry every Saturday night and being big fans of country, and that was our background. But we both wanted to be pop stars, not country stars.
And now they're kind of the same usually. I mean, country music is really
tell it apart now. But in those days you could.
Right.
But it was a big, one of the biggest thrills in our career was when we were asked to appear on the Opry. And so.
Wow, that is a big honor.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was. And so we did our hits, and even though, of course, it was a country and western audience, they knew our songs and really responded well to it. And then we had prepared. I did my version of Hank Snow, doing one of his songs, and Tommy did his version of Kitty, whatever her name was. She was the top country lady singer at the time, and she had this little tremolo, so Tommy did it this way when he was singing. So it was fun. We did some, a couple skits along with our hits.
Yeah, that's great. I heard you're really good at the organ. You're a really good organ player, and that you were asked to go on tour with Leon Russell. Is that true?
Yeah, when Leon was putting together the Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour, which was, I can't think of that English singer's name.
Is it what's his name?
Joe.
The guy, Joe. Joe. Oh, what is his name that they used to imitate on Saturday Night Live all the time? Joe Cocker. Is it Joe Cocker?
Joe Cocker. There he is. Yeah, it was his first big tour in the States, and Leon put together a great band. And he called me up one morning and said, "I want you to come along with us on this tour." and you'll sit behind the Hammond B3, and you'll sing "Turn On Your Love Light." Leon used to come out. Had been friends for quite some time, and he would often come out to the local honky tonks where I would be playing around LA, and he would come in with his entourage, which would oftentimes double the size of the crowd.
Wow.
And so he liked that, and he wanted me to come along and be part of it. But unfortunately, I wasn't up for it because Tommy and I were working, and there were conflicting dates and so on.
Got it. Yeah, well, that would have been a very interesting tour, I'm sure.
It would have been great, yeah.
Yeah.
They filmed it, and it was a documentary that came out too.
You're in demand, Bobby. Yeah. And also I read you were in the Musicians Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's on your website.
I'm not sure what that is. Musicians Hall of Fame. Well, that website is taken care of by Tommy's widow, Caroline Boyce, and I'm sure she wouldn't have put it on if it's not true.
Right. We're gonna fact check that one.
Okay.
Yeah. You're a fact checker.
What is your website? It's what Boyce. It's just Boyce and Hart. Official Boyce and Hart.
Official boyceandhart.com.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. We're gonna list that
below. Anybody wants to look it up? Yeah. Yeah. All the history, and you wrote a book.
Oh yeah, that's right.
About you, or?
Yeah, I did my first memoir about, I think it came out in 2015. It did very well. It was #1 in our category on Amazon for several weeks. And right now I'm writing a second book, just finishing up a second book with my same co-writer, Glenn Ballantyne. And this book is a self-improvement book, totally unlike the first one, which is all the stories. We have stories in the second one too, but not that was a memoir of the stories of the songs and so on.
I think the first one was called Psychedelic Bubblegum, right?
That's it.
Psychedelic Bubblegum.
It's not because of drugs or chewing gum. It's because of the music, because Tommy and I were known at that time as the kings of bubblegum.
Right.
In fact, somebody wrote a hit song called Bubblegum Music, and the verse starts out, Tommy, Boyce, and Barry Hart wonder what she's doing while the monkeys are singing about Valerie. So we were the kings of bubblegum, and then when we shifted back to the West Coast, we got influenced by the new music that was coming out in the second half of the 60s, by the Doors down at the Whiskey A Go-Go and a number of other kinds of acts, and we were picking up and using those kinds of feedback guitar and Indian instrumental sounds and so on, and we're incorporating those in our production. And so I said in the book that a more accurate description of our production style would be psychedelic bubblegum.
Okay. And it's available on Amazon, right?
It is. Yeah.
If anybody wants to go, buy one, it's available on Amazon. I'm seeing that on your website or through your website, I guess.
Yeah, you can buy it through the website.
Yeah.
And I think your new book will come out next year, 2021, you think?
Yeah, we're hoping to have it out early next year.
Good. We need some good entertainment for the new year, to take us out of 220.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, let's get done with 220. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. I also heard an interesting story about Bobby Kennedy and 18 and the right to vote. What was that all about?
Two different stories. One is that Tommy and I did support Robert Kennedy in his run for election. Unfortunately, it ended sadly with his assassination. And in the meantime, we had been asked to be the celebrity spokespersons, Tommy and I, for a movement called LUV, which stands for Let Us Vote. And the campaign was to change the voting age in the country from 18 to 21, or from 21 to 18, and allow this 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to vote. And at the time, the Vietnam War was still raging, and 18-year-olds were being drafted. And so we felt that was a good cause, and so we started promoting it at our before and during our concerts and on our television and print interviews and radio interviews and so on. And with the help of a lot of people, we actually went to Washington and lobbied our Congress people and our senators.
That's great.
And so it actually happened, I believe, in 1971. They bumped it down to 18.
Wow, that's great. I love when people get involved. Well, you know, it's been so wonderful talking to you today. We actually are going to be running out of time in a minute. So maybe we could have you back another time if your schedule permits.
Yeah,
Okay.
when your new book comes out, maybe you can come and share that with us and tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad we could make
Bobby.
this work. Yeah, thank you, Bobby, so much.
What an
Thanks
honor
for
to meet you. So excited.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My
All
friends
right.
are going to be so jealous.
Yeah.
You
All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Bobby. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.